All right, here we go, everybody. This will be Revelations mornings. I think it's part 32. I don't know. I'll have to check before I post it. I didn't go over the last one, the things I was talking about before doing this one. So if I skip over anything, I know I was talking about, if you're a flat earther, you should confront them with the fact that in the book of Enoch, it says the sun and the moon are the same size. Only the sun is 7 times brighter. And that there should be a way to confirm that. That I wasn't quite sure. And I meant to look up the way they figured. I'm sure they did some kind of triangulation, the way they figured the distances, but they've had to have lied about something. So, I figured that was a pretty strong jumping off point there. You can prove them wrong on what they've said about the distance, then you have a right to question everything they've said about the solar system and going to the moon and all that kind of stuff, and the shape of the earth. Well, yeah, and I think I also said, what if during the ice ages, we're taught like the ice cap has been receding back towards the North Pole. Well, if before the ice age, what if there wasn't any ice up there? And everything they're saying is global warming is just that still receding. But I also thought about, why would it just recede that way? If there was an ice age, you would think that from the bottom of their design, the globe, their Antarctica, there would have been ice spreading out from there. And if it's a flat earth design and an ice ring, maybe that ice ring is expanding, and someday we'll uncover more landmass and stuff we've never known about. That, and I talked also about it's pretty amazing. The Quran says to dig through the earth and see those who have gone before, and those civilizations who think they're mighty and stuff, do you think you're mightier than those who've gone before you and who were destroyed? So that was pretty amazing that you go around the world and you see all these sites and stuff that they find, and really never found anything major in North America, or at least that they've told us about anyway, other than some Native American like cave dwellings and stuff like that, but nothing like to compare with like cities and stuff they found in India and other parts of Mesopotamia and Babylon and stuff going back thousands and thousands of years, or tens of thousands of years. It seems to me that as mankind spread out over the whole earth, they would have taken knowledge from wherever they came from, and you'd have roughly the same types of civilizations starting and growing and developing all over the place. But here it tells us just barren wilderness and nothing but tribal people here. But so maybe someday they'll make a find. Other than that, in the news, there was one thing I wanted to go over. I forget what his name is. I think he's running for president now. I'm not sure. I think he's a mayor from Indiana or somewhere. I'm not sure. But he made a crack at the vice president because the vice president spoke out against homosexuality or something. So he made a crack that the vice president's problem wasn't with him, it was with his maker. Well, they try and put that in everybody's head that, God made them that way. But clearly from the story of Lot in the Bible.
You have one red message.
And in the Quran, when he confronted the Sodomites, he said to those men, he says, you do worse than any men before you. You choose men instead of taking for wives the women that God has created for man. So he said, you do worse and you choose. He didn't say God made them that way. He said they choose. So, to all the youth out there who are trying to deal with all this stuff and might have this kind of homosexuality and transgender stuff around them, and people trying to tell them it's normal and everything like that, or brought up around it, and just think it doesn't matter about that kind of stuff. You need to remember that these people are extremely confused. I know there's some people who were molested and stuff and fallen into that and stuff, and they have all kinds of stuff to deal with, and I'd be the last one to try and judge them and say it's just as easy as can be. You just need to change or whatever. There's a lot of anguish and mental stuff going on that they have to deal with, and I'm sure a lot of them struggle with a lot of things. But there's also the dark forces out there, Shaitan and his legions. And if you're a youngster out there or something and you get some homosexual thought or lesbian type stuff, it's not coming from you. It's coming from an external force, and even though it seems like it's coming from your own head, it's some dark force. And then when you have these people around who also listen to those voices, this dark force into their lives, telling you, oh, it's normal and stuff. Well, if you had that thought and everything, then you must be homosexual, and there's no shame in it, and you should just go ahead and follow, this or that. Don't be fooled by all that. It's the same with anything else, adultery, fornication, all kinds of other things. That's all the Satan and his legions. They're whisperers. They come at you with these ideas and these things, and then they put external forces around you that are also in line with those things. So, in today's society, there might be somebody, all of a sudden, they're going through puberty or whatever, and they're growing up, and, if it's a boy or something, maybe he's not rough and tough as the rest of them around him or something. And so he's got people telling him all the time that he's, too feminine or something, and he gets one of those thoughts, and Satan plays on his minds, and then he has all these people around him telling him, oh, just go with it and all this, and so he makes up his mind he must be gay or something. Don't fall for it. Seek refuge in Allah. Seek refuge in your Maker. So that's one of the these people say, oh, they were made that way. No. You followed something you should have resisted and gone the other way, and then clearly it's also, you know, this guy clearly, you know, here's God forbids something, and then you're going to try and say, well, then he makes people on purpose to break his laws. And that would be pretty much, you know, predestining them to failure and to be judged by the law and you know, go to hell in the end. That they had no choice. Does that sound right and fair that way? The God I believe in is fair and just. So seek refuge in Allah and don't let society, it's like anything, they make things more acceptable when they shouldn't be. And there's a verse in the Quran that says, you know, those who believe forbid what Allah has forbidden and allow what Allah has allowed. And those who don't believe allow what he's forbidden and forbid what he's allowed. Two exactly opposite types of people. So, and it's like drug use and everything else. They're trying to take this society in the United States all the way down the toilet. You know, the next 10 or 20 years is going to be crucial for all you people out there. So I wanted to touch on that the guy is wrong, you know, and he was all puffed up and, you know, talking, and, you know, the media is going to play him right, and, you know, what's the world, what do they say? All the world's a stage. So just remember, all these characters are nothing but actors trying to get you to believe and do things that you shouldn't. So I wanted to touch on that. You know, you need to, if you know the truth, then when people say things like that, you can say, no, you can't say that, you know, somebody who speaks out against homosexuality has a problem with God, that he made you that way. You know, what's the next excuse? Or can adulterers start saying that? How about somebody who abuses their wife, beats their wife all the time? Well, God made me this way. You don't have a problem with me. You have a problem with God. God made me this way. Or how about the pedophiles? Can they all start saying, well, God made me this way? What's next? See what I'm saying? And you can apply that excuse to anything. And I'm sure they will, you know. It's just but you'll never see that kind of rebuttal on TV or anything like that. It doesn't matter which side you come at it from. They're, like you said, all the world's a stage. They're all a bunch of actors. Even you look at the going on between the Democrats and Trump and everything. You can't tell how much of that's scripted and for what means to an end they're working towards. You know. You know, they can create situations of problems to make people react a certain ways. Oh, you know, this guy's so terrible. We got it, and to push you towards going towards somebody else. And even the person they're saying is terrible can be in on it because they're all in cahoots, and they want to get all the people who think like them into positions of power and stuff. So it's all manipulation. So, but I really hope they, one thing Trump does is get some more tax cuts and they can get rid of all these ridiculous things they fund. One thing, it's always, people blame the IRS, and I'm not saying I like the IRS, but they get the rap for, it's tax time and the IRS and blah, blah, blah. It's Congress. The IRS just collects the money. It's Congress that's ripping you off. They spend our money, the fruits of our labor, like it's theirs, like they have a right to. Like they can just, it's almost like the feudal system and everything that, our forefathers fought against, and where everything belonged to the king. Everything belongs to the king, and he's going to take what he wants, and you have nothing to say about it. Just tax, 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 tax. Take the fruit of your labors. Keep you from owning a piece of property and being secure and having a roof over your head. And then they do with it what they want to. The Constitution has specific things that they can tax for and stuff, and limits that were imposed on them from the beginning. But over the years, they've eroded all that, and they just willy-nilly. People are too apathetic in this country to have a tax revolt. Have another Boston Tea Party. Say you don't have a right to take what I've earned, my blood, sweat, and tears, to try and make a better life for me and my family. Take it away from me and give it to somebody else. That's nowhere in the Constitution. It's nowhere on any of our birth certificates. If you're born here in the United States, it says, they can pick your pocket at will and fund all kinds of things under the sun and give away and foreign aid all over the world and everything and all the things they do. So I wanted to touch on that. It's Congress. The IRS is just a collection agency. They don't write the tax code and set the rates and everything like that. That all comes from Congress and the White House. And they like you to think it's the IRS and have some confusion and stuff, and that there's nothing you can do about it. They like you to be looking the other way. Because the more people paid attention, in each state, there'd be uprisings and confronting your congressional leaders, saying, hey, you need to cut taxes. You're killing us. In all these states, they have percentage-based sales taxes. Well, most of them do. Some don't. Some will have an income tax and a sales tax. Some will either have one or the other. But most have a sales tax, and it's percentage, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get up into the Northeast and other places, and pretty high percentage. So every time there's a little bit of inflation or the prices of something goes up, the state automatically get a tax increase. Because you spend $50 on something and it's, a 10% tax or whatever, they're getting their $5. If the prices of everything goes up and all of a sudden everything's costing $100, well, now they're getting $10. Shouldn't be that way. And they're all going broke because they all written themselves all these big pensions for everybody who works in the state and all this stuff and everything. So they think they can, just like Obama thought, hey, I'll pick everybody's pocket, make them pay higher premiums to their insurance companies so their insurance companies can cover all these people who don't have insurance. And now that states want to give it to all the illegals and everything. For free, here you go. You want to stop illegal immigration? Stop giving everything away. Why is all the focus on the United States? And why are all these social justice warriors out there so they condemn everything the United States does? Why aren't they down there in Mexico? Why aren't they down there in Mexico City? Where's the president of Mexico? Why aren't they riding his ass? How come you don't take care of your people? Does Mexico have welfare? Do they take care of their people? What about Guatemala, Honduras, these other countries? Hell no. They say go north. What kind of country is that? We don't give a shit about our people. Go north. Go to the United States. Live off of them. You know, so for most Americans here, it's not a racial thing. I could care less if there were 30 million white Canadians coming in here demanding everything under the sun, or they're from Mexico or wherever. Get the hell out. I don't work every day so I can support people who come in and then don't even understand what the country's about or anything, and want to change what the founding fathers set up. You know, and then they're dumbing down the population. Now the founding fathers, they're just a bunch of dumb white cracker slave owners. They didn't know nothing. Really? Look around the world. Look at all the other countries and stuff, and tell me why people are leaving everywhere else to try and come here. If those dumb white cracker slave owners didn't know what they were doing. Or they set it up where you could work and prosper. Be any religion you wanted to without persecution. Oh, just a bunch of dumb white cracker slave owners. And that's sad that they teach a lot of the African Americans in this country that. I remember when I was a kid and we were studying all about the Revolution and the Founding Fathers and stuff, and a black kid in my class was like, shit, I ain't gonna learn that. The shit, that's your history. That ain't my history. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but you're here in the here and now. This is important stuff. This is, you know, you need to understand this. No, that ain't my history. I don't need, and it's a shame. You know, I'm not saying America's perfect. I'm not saying there's not corruption and stuff and that things couldn't be better. And that you know, especially, you know, the way the banks and Wall Street and everything acts and works. But let's all be real about everything, you know, while we're at it. It's like watching these, you know, sports shows with LeBron and some of these other ones where they talk about the owners of the teams that, you know, well, they, you know, they're like the slave owners and stuff, and they, you know, we're treated like garbage, and, well, you know, you paid millions of dollars. You know, they're like the slave owners, but you're signing a big deal with, you know, some sneaker outfit that pays people $1 a day in Vietnam or someplace to make your shoes. Okay, buddy. Some social justice warrior you are. How about Colin Kaepernick? Where's his jersey made? They got some woman chained to a table somewhere in Vietnam knitting NFL jerseys. So, just tired of the hogwash. You know, and now you get Joe Biden running. Joe, folks, let me put you in that car today. What can I do to get you in that car today? He reminds me of a used car salesman. Tell you what, folks. I'll throw in a free oil change and a keychain. I'll get you in. Will that put you in that car today, folks? Let me tell you, folks. And then he's trying to say the economy's booming because of Obama. Okay. I don't remember Obama cutting any taxes, regulations, and stuff. All I remember Obama doing was not going to the Olympics because Putin's police cracked down on all the cross-dressing homosexuals in Moscow. You know, there's a reason not to go to the Olympics and with the other world leaders and stuff, and make a big protest, make America a laughing stock. Then he went to Kenya and tried to force that shit on them there too, and they told him to get the hell out. It's supposed to be his motherland. Even they said, get the hell out of here with that crap. Same with Hillary and all them, oh, women's rights. Oh, they can't drive cars in Saudi Arabia. Hillary could care less about them driving cars. She wants to get it in there to where, a woman can divorce her husband at will, get on the birth control pill and go out running around like women do here, and then have an abortion. That's what Hillary wants, and people like her and all these people. The Democratic Party, I don't know how much sicker it can get. Like I say, it might be all to push everybody in another direction, and who knows what we get on the end of it all. But to want to have abortion all the way up until the time of birth. Wanting to have it at all is ridiculous, but how much more macabre can you get than even if they fail at an abortion and the fetus is born alive, doctor can still kill the baby? How much more sick can this country get? That's the Democratic Party. And I'm sorry, but, I've known and had lots of African-American friends in my life. You think Martin Luther King would have anything to do with that? But now you have all these civil rights leaders. A lot of them are gay themselves. They're pushing the homosexuality and the abortion and everything like that, just like it's a civil right. Like it has something to do with the struggle for equality. And it don't have nothing to do with the struggle for equality. And if you're swallowing that, well, then you might as well just go ahead and believe Uncle Joe Biden. They're going to put you all back in chains. They're going to put you all back in chains. Remember when he said that? Like black people out there were supposed to go, oh, Lordy, we better listen to Uncle Joe. They're going to put us back in chains. That's what people like him think about people of color. All they got to do is get it some slogans out there. And sadly, not just African Americans, but sadly in this country, everyone gets like 2 minutes of something coming through the TV and they take it as the gospel. Oh, this is Obama's economy. This why. And now you're going to have a bunch of people out there repeating that shit. They don't know if it's true. They don't care if it's true. Sound good to me. Uh-huh. Yep. I hate Trump. This is Obama's economy. Fickle and simple-minded people. So, wanted to touch on those things in the news. Some other stuff. Let's see. What else in the news? Global warming. They keep AOC and her crowd keep coming up with all kinds of stuff and set of practical everyday things that can be done. We got to rebuild every building and all this, and we got to make everything electric. Let me ask you something. How high do you think the price of electricity is going to go in this country if they make every car in this country electric? And sky high. Think about next time you're sitting in traffic during rush hour on your way to work or on your way home. Especially think about on your way home. Yeah, you and everybody else on the road driving something electric. What are they going to do when they get home? You'll plug that puppy in. Think about that. All those cars being plugged in every night. Brownouts, blackouts. The electrical grid isn't ready for all that. They're going to have more power generating stations. And they'll be coal. You have more strip mining. Like I said, every Tesla ought to have powered by coal stamped right on its ass end. Because they're not going to build any nuclear plants. And you ain't going to do it all with solar and wind. Sorry, Charlie. You need to look into that wind energy and stuff. And what it costs to make one of those towers. And how much oil's in each one of them turbines up there. And the maintenance problems and everything else. And, just getting them to where they are and how many trucks and the cranes and how much energy is used to just put one of them things up. You need to do your homework. But like I said, everybody does 2 minutes off of the news and they hear something and That must just be the way it is. They want to get on the bandwagon. Whether it's true or not, they don't care. Sounds good to them. And they sure don't like how the other person on the other side looks or sounds. So, but I'm just telling you the way it is. Go ahead, think about that. Driving home, everybody plugging in at once. Do you know your electric bills are going to be higher than your rent? And you know what that's going to do to this country? The price of fossil fuels, oil and gas and everything like that, will drop, right? But here's the thing, the rest of the world isn't going to go all electric. So they're going to be able to produce and manufacture cheaper and transport cheaper than we can. You understand that? You want to go all this high tech and everything electric and everything like that? You haven't thought it through. You're going to make the cost of everything in this country sky freaking high. Sky high. And then, of course, because poor people won't be able to afford it, especially immigrants and everything, what's next? Oh, we got to buy them all electric cars now? Oh, we got to give them money to pay their electric bill? Let's subsidize everything. What'll that type of stuff do to manufacturing and everything in this country? Just banning fossil fuels and everything. The rest of the world isn't gonna. America will go down the tubes in a heartbeat, and all these other countries will be out producing and living high in the hog. It's a nice pipe dream, clean energy, but there's no free lunch for anything. There's a trade-off for everything. And I don't know why people can't. Don't they teach that in school anymore? Just basic stuff, facts about life. There's nothing that's free that doesn't require some work or effort or energy. It's just ridiculous. You want solar farms? Fine. How are you going to grow food to feed the poor people around the world? You know how much land solar would take up? You know how much land wind takes up? Absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you want to talk about practical things, better engine design, without making the cost go sky high, better pollution controls, filters, things like that. There's practical things we can do to reduce the output of emissions without going overboard. But they're going nuts with this stuff, and if I hear one more time about a study about cow flatulence and its effect on global warming, I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's the cows farting. There's too many cows. We got too many people and too many and eating beef and cows. And look here. This earth, whether you believe flat earth or globe, is so huge. If you think all the cows on this planet, on this earth, farting or making the temperature get warmer, you've lost your freaking mind. Absolutely have lost your mind. And think about it. God put man here on the earth and everything. And for history, all of history, talks about men making fires to keep warm and to cook and stuff and everything. So there was a lot of smoke. Think about now if everybody was cooking and everything. And I don't know any scripture that says, well, you can't use fire because you're going to pollute the whole planet. You can't put smoke in the air. So, think about it now. I mean, we're probably actually putting out less pollution now than if everybody was still burning wood. Think there'd be any trees left if we were still all burning wood? People have lost it. Anyhow, that'll do it for this one there. Just remember, there's no greater thing you can say out there than Allahu Akbar. And there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. May peace be upon him and his family and followers. You all take care out there. Be safe.